A young pianist played Elton John's song in the subway. Elton John showed up. Next was unbelievable. The subway station buzzed with its usual chaos. Commuters rushing to catch trains, the rhythmic clatter of footsteps echoing through tiled corridors, and the faint hum of distant conversations blending into the urban symphony. Beneath fluorescent lights that flickered occasionally, a young pianist sat at a battered old piano station near Platform 7. Her name was Clara Bennett, an 18-year-old music prodigy whose dreams of becoming a professional musician had been put on hold due to financial struggles. With her curly auburn hair tied back in a loose bun and her fingers dancing effortlessly across the keys, she poured her soul into every note. Today, she was playing Your Song by Elton John, a timeless melody that seemed to float above the din of the bustling station. Clara had been performing in the subway for months, earning just enough money to cover rent and basic expenses while attending community college. Her dream of studying at a prestigious conservatory felt increasingly out of reach, but she refused to give up. Every time she played, she imagined herself on a grand stage, captivating audiences with her passion and talent. As the final notes of Your Song lingered in the air, a small crowd gathered around her, many pausing their hurried commutes to listen. Some dropped coins or crumpled bills into her open case, while others simply stood silently, captivated by the beauty of her performance. But then, something extraordinary happened. A tall figure emerged from the crowd, his presence commanding yet unassuming. He wore sunglasses despite the dim lighting and carried a leather satchel slung casually over one shoulder. The murmurs began almost immediately. "Is that?" someone whispered. "It can't be," another responded, incredulous. But there was no mistaking him. It was Elton John himself, standing mere feet away from Clara, listening intently as she transitioned seamlessly into Rocket Man. Clara didn't notice him at first, too absorbed in her music to pay attention to the growing audience. But when she finally looked up between verses, her hands froze mid-chord, her eyes widening in disbelief. "Oh my God," she breathed, her voice barely audible over the soft hum of the station. "Mr. John?" Elton smiled warmly, removing his sunglasses to reveal kind, twinkling eyes. "That was beautiful," he said, his British accent adding a touch of charm. "You've got real talent, young lady." Clara's cheeks flushed crimson as she struggled to find words. I don't even know what to say," she stammered, clutching the edge of the piano bench. "I've admired your work my entire life. This is insane." Elton chuckled softly, clearly amused by her reaction. "Well, let me ask you something," he continued, leaning slightly forward. "Why are you playing here in a subway station instead of somewhere bigger? Somewhere where people can truly appreciate your gift?" Clara hesitated, glancing down at her worn sneakers before meeting his gaze again. "I'm trying to save up for school," she admitted quietly. "Music has always been my dream, but it's hard to get noticed unless you have connections or money." Elton nodded thoughtfully, his expression shifting from curiosity to admiration. "You know," he said after a moment, "some of the greatest artists started exactly where you are now. Humble beginnings, raw talent, and a whole lot of heart." He paused, then added with a mischievous grin, "But I think we can do better than this station, don't you?" Before Clara could respond, Elton turned to the growing crowd and raised his voice slightly. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a star in our midst. If you've got a moment, stay and listen. You won't regret it." The crowd erupted into applause, some cheering enthusiastically while others pulled out their phones to record the impromptu performance. Clara, still in shock, managed a shaky smile as she resumed playing, her nerves giving way to exhilaration. But what happens next will leave you speechless. If this unexpected twist caught your attention, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories. What do you think Elton John has planned for Clara? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your predictions. As Clara continued to play, the energy in the subway station shifted. The once hurried commuters slowed down, forming a semicircle around the piano. Some closed their eyes, swaying gently to the music, while others whispered to each other about the surreal encounter unfolding before them. Elton stood nearby, watching intently as Clara poured her heart into Rocket Man. Her fingers moved with precision and emotion, every note resonating deeply within the cavernous space. When she finished, the crowd erupted into applause once again, this time louder and more sustained than before. "That was incredible," Elton said, stepping closer to Clara as the clapping subsided. "You've got something special, a real gift." Clara blushed, still struggling to process the fact that one of her idols was standing right in front of her. "Thank you," she murmured, her voice trembling slightly. "This means so much coming from you." Elton nodded, his expression thoughtful. "Tell me more about yourself," he urged gently. "Where are you from? What brought you here?" Clara hesitated for a moment, glancing at the ground before meeting his gaze again. "I'm from a small town in Ohio," she began, her voice soft but steady. "My mom taught me how to play when I was 5. She used to say music could take you places words alone couldn't. But she passed away a few years ago and things got tough after that. My dad works 2 jobs just to keep us afloat, so there wasn't much left for luxuries like private lessons or auditions." She paused, taking a deep breath before continuing. "When I graduated high school, I applied to some conservatories, but the tuition was way out of reach. So I came here, to New York, hoping to make enough money playing in the subway to save up for school. I know it sounds crazy, but..." Her voice trailed off, her cheeks flushing with embarrassment. "It doesn't sound crazy at all," Elton interjected firmly. "It sounds brave and determined. 2 qualities every great artist needs." Clara smiled faintly, touched by his words. "But tell me this," Elton continued, his tone curious. "What's your ultimate dream? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Clara didn't hesitate. "I want to perform at Carnegie Hall," she replied, without missing a beat. "I want to write my own songs and inspire people the way you've inspired me. I want to prove that no matter where you start, you can still achieve greatness if you believe in yourself. And if someone believes in you too." Elton's eyes softened, and for a moment he looked lost in thought. Then, with a sly grin, he gestured toward the piano. "Well then," he said, pulling out his phone. "Let's give you a little boost, shall we?" Before Clara could ask what he meant, Elton opened his social media account and began typing. Moments later, he held up the phone for her to see. "Just met a young pianist named Clara Bennett performing in the NYC subway. Her talent is undeniable, and her story is inspiring. Keep an eye out for her. You haven't heard the last of this incredible musician." He tagged several influential figures in the music industry and hit post. Within minutes, notifications began flooding in as thousands of followers liked, shared, and commented on the post. "This is insane," Clara whispered, staring at the screen in disbelief. "Why are you doing this for me?" Elton shrugged modestly, though his smile betrayed his pride. "Because everyone deserves a chance to shine," he replied simply. "And because I know what it's like to struggle. Talent like yours shouldn't go unnoticed." The crowd around them erupted into cheers once again, many shouting words of encouragement and snapping photos. For Clara, the moment felt surreal, a whirlwind of emotions she could barely comprehend. But as the initial excitement began to settle, a new challenge emerged. Later that evening, as Clara packed up her belongings and prepared to leave the station, she received a notification on her phone. It was an email from a prestigious conservatory she had applied to months earlier, the same one that had rejected her due to insufficient funds. The subject line read, "Reconsideration offer, full scholarship available." Her heart raced as she opened the message. "We recently learned of your remarkable talent and dedication through Sir Elton John's endorsement," the email began. "After reviewing your application once more, we would like to extend a full scholarship for our upcoming semester. Please let us know if you're interested in accepting." Clara gasped, tears streaming down her face as she read the words over and over again. This is everything I've ever wanted," she whispered, clutching her phone tightly. But even as joy overwhelmed her, doubts crept in. Could she really step into this opportunity? Was she ready to leave behind the familiar struggles of her life in pursuit of something greater? Little did she know, Elton John wasn't done helping her yet. If Clara's journey inspires you to chase your dreams, no matter how impossible they seem, hit the like button and share this video with someone who needs a reminder that opportunities can come from unexpected places. Have you ever faced a challenge that felt insurmountable? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear how stories like this motivate you to keep pushing forward. Together, let's celebrate moments of courage and resilience. The next morning, Clara woke up to a flood of notifications on her phone. Messages from friends, family, and even strangers congratulating her on the scholarship offer. Social media had exploded with shares of Elton John's post, and her name was trending online under hashtags like Clara Bennett and the subway star. Reporters began reaching out for interviews, and local news stations aired segments about the subway pianist who caught Sir Elton John's attention. But amidst the whirlwind of excitement, Clara couldn't shake the feeling of uncertainty that lingered in the back of her mind. Is this really happening? She muttered to herself as she stared at the email confirming the scholarship. Her dad, sitting across the kitchen table with a cup of coffee, noticed her hesitation. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" he asked gently. "This is what you've been working toward, isn't it?" Clara sighed, fidgeting with the hem of her sweater. "I know it is," she admitted. "But what if I'm not good enough? What if I let everyone down?" Her dad reached across the table, placing a reassuring hand over hers. "You've already proven how talented and determined you are," he said firmly. "And remember what your mom always told you. Music is about sharing your heart, not being perfect. Trust yourself, Clara. You've got this." His words brought tears to her eyes, but they also gave her the push she needed. After taking a deep breath, she replied to the conservatory's email, accepting their offer with gratitude and excitement. Later that afternoon, as she scrolled through social media updates, another surprise awaited her. A direct message from Elton John himself popped up on her screen. "Clara, I heard about the scholarship offer. Congratulations. But there's one more thing I'd like to discuss with you. Meet me tomorrow at Steinway Hall at noon. Bring your sheet music. You'll need it." Clara's heart skipped a beat. Steinway Hall was legendary, home to some of the finest pianos in the world, and a place she'd only ever dreamed of visiting. What could Elton possibly want to discuss there? The following day, dressed in her best outfit, a navy blue blouse and black slacks, Clara arrived at Steinway Hall nervously clutching her sheet music. As she entered the grand showroom, she spotted Elton waiting near a gleaming grand piano, its polished surface reflecting the soft glow of chandeliers above. "You came," he said warmly, gesturing for her to join him. "I wouldn't miss this for anything," Clara replied, still in awe of his presence. Elton smiled before turning serious. "I wanted to give you something special," he explained. "Something that might help you take the next step in your journey." With that, he gestured toward the piano. "Play something for me," he urged. "Anything you feel passionate about." Clara hesitated for a moment, then sat down at the bench and began playing Your Song, the very piece that had first caught his attention in the subway. Her fingers glided effortlessly across the keys, filling the room with rich, resonant notes. When she finished, Elton nodded approvingly. "That's beautiful," he said. "Now here's the deal. I've arranged for you to record a duet with me. We'll perform one of my classics together, and all proceeds will go toward funding scholarships for aspiring musicians like yourself." Clara's jaw dropped in disbelief. A duet? With you?" she stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," Elton replied with a grin. "Think of it as a way to amplify your message and inspire others to chase their dreams just like you're doing." Tears welled in Clara's eyes as she processed his generosity. "I don't know what to say," she whispered. "Thank you doesn't feel like enough." Elton chuckled softly, patting her shoulder. "You don't have to thank me," he said kindly. "Just promise me one thing, that you'll keep playing, no matter what life throws your way." Clara nodded, her resolve stronger than ever. "I promise," she vowed, her voice filled with determination. As they began rehearsing, Clara realized this wasn't just an opportunity. It was a lifeline, a chance to prove to herself and the world that her dreams were worth fighting for. But little did she know, the biggest surprise was yet to come. If Clara's courage and talent inspire you to pursue your passions, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more uplifting stories of resilience and creativity. Have you ever received a helping hand when you needed it most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear how acts of kindness have impacted your life. Together, let's keep spreading hope and encouragement.